the examples that we showed you in a previous video was called show number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function called show number, and that function, the objective of it is obviously to take a number, double it, and then return it back. But what we're going to do, we're going to use two functions, a function within a function. So you can follow along and you can type the code out in your Netbeans as well, so then you can benefit the most from these tutorials. Now show number takes an argument, so it takes a number and then it doubles that number and then returns it back to the user. So the argument is an integer basically. I'm going to create a variable called new num. The way I'm going to do it to separate the two words, new is going to be in lowercase and num capital, so it looks much clearer. Create another calling a function called make double, and make double also takes a number, and finally we echo the value. Now we can echo the value in two ways. Either we can concatenate the value by doing this new num. As you can see, Netbeans gives us hints. We can do it this way, or the other way we could do it is we can actually embed the variable within the text. So we can say new num here like that. It would work the same way. Now we need to create another function which will be called make double. So this is a make double function, and make double takes a number which is passed from the show number and then it returns it back. For those that have just joined us in this tutorial and probably don't know what this is a comment. This is a PHP single line comment. So this isn't part of the code. The interpreter here, PHP, ignores these comments. It has no bearing on the program at all, but I'm just putting it there just to remind us what we're going to do next. So I'm going to create a function. I'm going to call it make double. Again, it has a parameter which is num. Let's move the screen up. So how does make double work? Basically it's a very simple function. What it does, it just adds the numbers together. So if we said, we could do it in different ways. We can either say num plus $num plus equals $num. Now what that will do is, this is just a shorthand for num equals num plus 1, or plus num again. This is just a shorthand for this, so this is a much shorter version of that. So I'm going to use the one above just there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another line called return num. So basically this could be a one-liner. I could just put the return up here like so and ignore this line completely and make it even shorter. Okay, a very short function. All it does is says num plus 1 plus num plus num. Basically I can remove that even and make it even shorter, and it would look like that basically. So that doubles the number. Or I could have done it in a different way and I could have put multiplies 2. It would have the same effect. Okay, so let's save it and run it. Okay, now it's saved. We put it into project 3 folder, so let's click on that, and there's project 3. Now as you can see here, it's blank. There's nothing's happened. Now what's the reason? Because we didn't actually execute any of the code. So what we need to do, we need to continue. We haven't really finished yet. To continue, what we're going to do, we're going to force a number into show number function. So I'm going to exit the PHP. This is PHP, this is where it ends, and now we're just going to do some HTML. Now the HTML is going to be very simple. So to complete this program, what I need to do is I need to make a call to show number. Now I could do this in a couple of ways. I can actually call the function here, or I can actually exit PHP completely here and create some HTML tag. It could be any program, and somewhere in the program it would call that function. So just to demonstrate that I'm embedding PHP in HTML, I've gone out of PHP and I'm going back in again in PHP. Now I'm going to call the function called show number. I'm going to pass it the number 4. So now what we've done, we're calling show number, passing the value 4, and we've placed it in h3 tags, which is slightly bigger title, header title. Okay, and that's about it. That program should now run. We save it. Okay, and we have an error here. It says call to undefined function called show num, and basically it has a missing b. That's a misspelling. So we're going to correct that. I've done that on purpose just to show you what happens and how to correct errors. I'm going to save it again, and now it says the value is 8. Now I had to actually force the browser to do the refresh. The reason for that is we actually forgot to do something. We forgot to actually include the live.js file. Again, if we go back here and we look, we've got that include script there. So I'm going to copy that across and paste it in the new program. Okay, now I'm going to change that number and make it 2 and just save, and it updates here as 4. Put it as 5, save, and it says 10. As you can see, it does live refresh. Okay, so that's basically it for that program. What we can do, we can also change the formula and call it num plus num. Let's see what happens with that. So that basically multiplies the numbers together. Right,